this is Oscar with PS Arts. Thank you for joining me in my studio, and thank you for welcoming me into yours. Today we have a really cool project based on a book called Jacob Makes a World. The book is based on one of my favorite artists. His name is Jacob Lawrence. He's a very famous painter. If you don't have the book, we have a really cool video narrated by Dondre Whitfield and his daughter Parker, where they read the book for you. So you can read along with them even if you don't have the video. The link to that video will be in the description of this one. So for today's project, we're going to be creating a mask. In the book, Jacob Lawrence paints a face inspired by the faces of everyone that he's seen around in his neighborhood. So he sits, he closes his eyes, and he thinks about all the different faces that he remembers from people in his neighborhood, and he creates one face out of all of those many faces. And today we're going to be creating a mask using a similar way of thinking. For today's project, you are going to need some kind of surface. You can use a regular white piece of paper, but if you don't have a white piece of paper, you might have an old bag from the grocery store. Go ahead and ask an adult to see if you're allowed to use one of the old grocery store bags that you might have collected, or maybe you might have a different kind of bag, but just make sure to ask an adult. Today I'm going to be using this bag just because I like this brown color that it has, and that way I don't have to paint my white sheet. But if you do have a white sheet and you like that it's white, that's fine too. You can just use a white piece of paper. So for the first step, you are going to be using a pencil to draw the shape of the face. If you don't have a pencil, you can use whatever else. If you have a crayon, if you have a marker. I'm going to be using a marker because it'll show up darker, so you'll get to see what I'm doing. If I use a pencil, it might be too light to see on camera. But if you have a pencil, use a pencil. That way, if you don't like it, you can erase. So to begin our project, you see I have my bag here. Don't worry about all this writing if your bag has writing outside of it, because really what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the inside part of the bag. So right now we're just drawing the outside. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna try to draw an oval to make the shape of the face. Now it doesn't have to be perfect. So you want something like that. Try to make it big. It's okay if it's bigger than your face. It doesn't have to be exactly, but you do want it to be bigger than your face rather than smaller than your face. So now that we have our shape of the face, what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut it out. So once you cut it out, you're gonna have something like this. If you flip it to the other side, you have a blank side of paper. So for our next step, we're gonna draw the face on our mask. So Jacob Lawrence, he was imagining all the different faces of the people in his neighborhood when he was painting his mask on a canvas. We're gonna start off with some eyes. Now, you can draw the eyes the way I'm drawing them, or you can draw them however you choose to draw them. It's up to you. But what I'm going to do is, to start off, I'm going to draw a line, a curved line going that way. And then I'm going to draw the same line under it. And that way. Now, I'm going to do the same thing on this side. One line going up, curved line, and then a curved line under it. Just like that. So once you've drawn your eyes, you are ready for the nose. Again, draw the nose however you want, but the way that I'm going to draw it is I'm going to use a letter L. So I'm going to draw one line like that. Now again, I'm trying to draw a letter L, but I'm also curving it just a little bit, working with a curved line. So it's not perfectly straight, it's a little curved. I'm going to do the same thing with this side. Now, you can choose to just draw the line this way and you'll have kind of a sharp corner, or you can round it. You can make it round by adding a curved line like that. And then drawing it down. So now we have two eyes and a nose. Now the mouth is the tricky part. The way that I like to draw a mouth is I use a letter M that looks like it's been squished a little bit. So, see that? It looks like a letter M, but it looks like it's been kind of flattened out. And that makes the top lip. And then same technique that you use for the eyes. You're going to draw a curved line right under that. Just like that. Now, we're going to add another curved line right under. And now you can leave it like this and you have a closed mouth, or you can add, if you want to make it look like the mouth is open a little bit, you can add another curved line right under. And now looks like he's smiling a little bit. So when you look at the image of Jacob's mask, you can see that he's sort of divided his face into different sections so that he can add different colors into every section. And we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to start off with the forehead. So with the forehead, we are going to draw a curved line this way. Now I'm just doing lines where I think they should go. There's really no rules to this. If you want to divide your face differently from what I'm doing, you can go ahead and do that as well. I'm really just drawing lines where I think they would look cool. So. So now that I've finished, I have something like this. And now for our final step, we're gonna fill up all of these different spaces. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna fill up all of these spaces with drawings. I'm gonna draw different patterns that I found around the house, cool images that I found in pictures that I have hung around the house, things like that. And I'm also thinking about things outside of my home, things that are important to me. I'm gonna be drawing them in these spaces. Alright, so here I've filled up my face with some different drawings. Up here is a pattern from a chair. This is a pattern from a mat that we have on our table. And in the nose here, I wrote down some streets that I feel are really important to me. Mariposa is a street that I grew up on. Normandy is another street that's very close to me. So just different street names that mean something to me. And I also drew some palm trees here around the eyes. Some different faces to represent people that I run into, and some flowers, and a couple of different other patterns that I found around my house. I left this one blank here because I want to color it one solid color. And that's our next step. Is if you have some markers, what we're going to do is we're going to color in our different sections with whatever colors you want. Now if you don't have markers, if all you have is a pencil, you can do something like this. This one I did all in pencil. It's the same thing, but I used my pencil to shade. It's just to give it a more interesting look. If you have other materials other than markers, like some kind of paint, then you can go ahead and use that as well. If you have some pastels, those are great. Some crayons, go ahead and use whatever you have available to add some color. So So here's my mask all finished and colored. Again, if you don't have markers, you can just do it all in pencil. And another cool thing that you can do if you would like to is if you have an extra popsicle stick, you can tape it on the back and then you can hold it up just like this. Or you can just leave it as is, maybe tape it to your wall or somewhere where you can display it. And that was our project for today. I hope you had fun. Remember that as a PS artist, you have the freedom to imagine and the power to create, and I hope you join me next time.